Greetings, friends. Reformed Stoic here, back again with another video. I'm testing out a little bit of a different setup here. I wanted to make sure that I was closer to the camera as to get better audio quality. So, trying to keep the gravy train rolling. Today's video, off the top, as always, I'm going to give some of my thoughts on what we could call the American caste system. I grew up in America. I would like to say Western caste system, but we'll just call it United States American caste system. Now, this is hyperbole, obviously. A lot of people want to jump in. How dare you? This is America. We have freedom. We are so privileged. We are so lucky. We are. But I got to take some risks on my channel. I got to say what I feel. I got to be unfiltered. I've pissed off a lot of people in my life. And, like the video, follow the trajectory. This is the trajectory, is that when I speak my mind unfiltered, I just say shit that sounds like, wow, what an asshole sometimes. But it doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean it's not based in something real. So we got a little bit of a bullet point list here. I've only thought of like a couple of bullet points, and hopefully I come up with more as the video goes on. I know the first one, though, public school. So you're a human being born into the world, and your caste isn't necessarily decided right off the bat. That's what separates this from, like, real, literal caste systems. This caste system is kind of like the Matrix caste system, where we don't know it exists. And for this one, it's like you're going down this big water slide, but you can, like, change directions. This isn't like a real thing. It'd be cool if this was a real thing, like a water slide adventure, where you have to kind of like choose your paths as you go down like a maze of water slides. As Wrinkles makes closet noises that she's literally never made ever before. This is really the time you want to start making closet noises, Rinky. So you're going down this water slide maze, choosing your path. It's like, oh, well, the first path that you chose is going to public school. Or rather, this path is chose for you. It's random. So enough about the water slides. Public school. This is where the Squid Games begin. This is where Battle Royale... I didn't personally watch Squid Games. I think I watched the first episode. It's like, yeah, I can't really watch new television. That's just not my style. I saw Battle Royale, which is... it was a Japanese movie. Maybe it just had subtitles, but I think they remade it for an American audience. Same concept, kids battling to the death. I don't know if it's kids doing it in Squid Games, but anyway, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, Battle Royale might as well be some sort of like a revelation of the method on what school is, specifically public school. It's like, okay, kids, good luck amounting to jack shit. And then the fact, here's that offensive thing, and I'm going to stop explaining this because it's going to get really old if I keep explaining it. But here's that me speaking my mind and saying something really offensive. If your parents put you in public school and, your parents are just like, what did you learn at school today, son? You got to work on your homework. If you spent as much time working on your homework as you did playing those dang old video games, you'd be a doctor. And they're talking that way, and you go to a public school, it means your parents probably don't know jack shit, which is also part of another bullet point of the caste system that we may or may not go over later. But public school, this is where the game begins, okay? Because if you go to a private school, you are getting protected from the slobbercog farm of people who basically aren't meant to be jack shit. You're not guaranteed to succeed if you go to a private school. But yeah, I mean, I'm saying that there's not really a caste system, but when it comes to public school versus private school, there kind of is. I mean, if you want to just go down a rabbit hole, look up like anybody who's amounted to basically like being famous, anybody who's like an influencer, anybody who's a politician, anybody who's like anything, and look at their Wikipedia and try to figure out if they went to a private school or not. Pretty much anybody who ever amounted to jack shit went to a private school. I went to public school. So anyway, so let the games begin. Let the battle royale begin. You went to public school. Okay, how can we make this work? Bullet point number 2, structured activities. And this is going to fall on the parents. I don't know if there's going to be a bullet point for like how smart your parents are, because it's pretty much the same as like private school versus public school. And I know that money is a factor. And again, I said I wasn't going to explain it. It makes me sound like an asshole. This is just the truth. This is the bleak reality. It's not me being judgmental. It's just reality. When you go to public school, you're not meant to be jack shit. If your parents put you in public school, they're probably fucking stupid. It just takes less time if I just don't explain over and over and over again. So, do your parents have the foresight to put you in structured activities? And I'm going to try not to make this about me. I got to give my parents kind of the benefit of the doubt here, because I was weak and small and pathetic in elementary school, and my dad tried to put me in like every single sport, like very fast, and none of them stuck for me. I did all right in track and field. I think maybe wrestling would have been all right, but I would not have been good at it at a young age, because not only was I small, I was also weak for my size. But anyway, it doesn't have to be sports, just structured activities which protect you from going home and turning on the TV, and then 10 years later, oh, did you TiVo dog, Mom? Like, dude, if that's how you're starting your life, just lots and lots of TV and movies. And by the way, when it comes to autism, I'm not an expert here. I gotta stop giving these disclaimers. I just gotta let it out. Even if it's wrong, even if it's a terrible opinion, I just need to let it go. We're gonna get to the deep recesses of my mind, chuddies. When it comes to autism, I think this could be a factor, because there's still research being done on like what causes autism. Because in my mind, the stereotype, like some of the stereotypes of like an autistic boy is like drinking Mountain Dew and watching television and playing video games. And these are all things that are very common experiences for young boys who don't have any structured activities. So getting into structured activities young, sports is definitely like upper echelon for that, because that's going to teach you dedication, drive. That's going to help encourage you to eat healthy and to live healthy, and it's going to protect you from coming home maybe to an empty house. Very common 90s latchkey kid experience. It's probably still a common experience today. Going home to an empty house, turning on television. You don't even have a mentor to be like, hey, like don't watch Barney, son. That's fucking stupid. Like, nope, you're a kid, and this is where the autism comes in. You come home, you don't know any better. If your parents are home, they're burnt out, they don't want to interact with you. Well, I guess I'll just watch whatever my 8-year-old mind is attracted to in this moment. I love you, you love me, and then maybe you'll end up thinking that Barney is amazing because nobody's protecting you from that. So, bullet point number 2, organized activities, particularly sports, especially for men, and, for women too. It will help you develop into somebody who's attractive, in shape. You'll likely learn some things about health. Despite harmful stereotypes, I think these stereotypes are starting to become undone about, like, sports people are dumb. I mean, sports could make you dumb. Like, football is dangerous for your brain. But that's actually maybe a purposely harmful stereotype to give people an excuse not to play sports when really your intelligence is basically just your IQ, and a lot of high IQ people are good looking, and part of being good looking is big and strong, and again, brutal realities here, but like yeah, big, tall, strong, good looking. So you could totally be good at sports and be intelligent, and you know a lot of successful people, their story is good grades, straight A's, was the captain of the football team or whatever, and then they go to Notre Dame, and then they end up being an FBI agent. Don't we love our FBI officers who played football and went to Notre Dame? Anyway, so I think that's kind of my point about that. Now, moving on to the next bullet point would be, well, let's go ahead and cover diet. I definitely think diet is actually something, it's like this poison that's just spread out through society. It's like, oh, we don't live in a caste system, we live in freedom. Yeah, but some people have intelligent parents who are smart enough to put them in private schools, or at least put them in sports and structured activities, or at least, my potatoes are done soaking, or at least protect them from sucking down Mountain Dew and going to McDonald's all the time. I believe that this food is harmful probably for your mental development, but if nothing else, it's just going to make you look like shit. And part of the caste system is how attractive you are physically, especially for men. Now, we could probably go ahead and skip to one of the next bullet points of the caste system is, are you a man or are you a woman? In terms of the current year, I don't think public school is a problem for women unless they just absolutely end up for the streets on drugs. If they can't manage to get out of high school without like having Cletus's kids or being meth heads or like being raging alcoholic messes, then yeah. And I definitely know a fair share of women that I grew up with who probably went nowhere. I don't know. I don't really follow them. I don't give a shit about them. But my spidey sense is tingling or telling me, yeah, that was a dumb bitch. She probably went nowhere. And then every now and then I kind of just catch wind. It's like, yeah, she went nowhere. But yeah, like the way it works now is that all minorly attractive women are mini celebrities if they have the basic intelligence to create an Instagram account. And so life is pretty much easy, just exist mode for women who have any sort of curves. The way it works anymore in terms of dating is like, if there's anything redeemable about her, she's too good for you if you're not some sort of a super successful guy. Okay, moving on. So, in review, it starts with whether or not you go to public or private school. Private school people have a much better chance of amounting to something in life. Okay, so you went to public school. Did you at least get put in sports and organized activities? Good. Are you avoiding slop? Are you eating healthy? That's going to help your facial complexion. It's going to help you look better. Younger, which is going to help you avoid trauma. Both sports and eating healthy, they kind of go together. It's going to help you like look better and experience milestones. Younger, maybe not develop autism, which is also the structured activities keeping you away from, oh, I love you. I love Barney, Mom. You're fucking 13. Be something. Well, it's kind of your fault, Mom, because you didn't really teach the kid fucking anything. So it's very important. Like, you might think the health is like a little bit overrated here, but no, it's going to help you look better at a younger age. Going to help you get girlfriends, maybe avoid autism, maybe avoid getting bullied. So, height is an obvious one for men. And a lot of that's just genetics. You know, some people think that maybe caffeine stunts your growth. I gotta tell you, man, when I was in middle school, lots of soda, staying up all night. That was the theme of overnights. It's like, yeah, let's all get our own 2 liters of soda, and let's eat lots of candy and bullshit, and let's stay up all night playing video games. If you try to sleep, your friends are like, dude, you're a pussy, dude. You gotta stay up all night. It's like almost like some sort of a psyop to like ruin you. And that's what most kids are from public schools. They're just walking MK Ultra. They've just passively received all the brainwashing of slopper cog society, and they just want to drag you down. Like there's just all these kids just dragging each other down, all from broken homes, all from being latchkey kids and having no sort of structured, organized activity. But I don't know. I mean, I still grew a little bit after that. So mainly it's just genetics. There's statistics out there for CEO data, income, earning, and height. And yeah, it is very statistically proven that shorter men are less likely to be successful in the world. So there's 10 minutes, and you know, we want this video to just kind of be short. I kind of just wanted to test out the audio, the new camera angle, give some of my thoughts on this. But yeah, you know, like, this is a big deal. This stuff is a big deal, and the language they use to try to silence this kind of talk is like, oh, that's the victim mentality, and this is the American dream, and anybody can amount to anything. You are going to be stumbling out into the world on wobbly legs if you went to a public school, if you had no structured activity growing up, if you're short, and then, you know, you could just go ahead and add like general physical attractiveness as a man, because it's harder to be a man than it is to be a woman. Repeat after me, sweeties. It's harder to be a man than it is to be a woman. You're such a sweetie. Woo! Whoa! That's almost broke my drum set, sweetie. I nicked my bass drum mic. All right. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, those are really the big ones. Avoiding trauma is a big one, but all that stuff is going to help you avoid trauma. So, and then, you know, just in general, like, how supportive and intelligent are your parents? But yeah, if you went to a public school, if you weren't a part of structured activities, if you had a shitty diet, basically all of that is your parents' fault. Anytime people are trying to lecture kids, like, you could have decided to do that when you were 8. It's not my fault that you watched television when you were 8. It's not my fault that you wanted to have stupid overnights and drink a bunch of soda when you were 10. Like, it's all the parents. Everything before high school is over, is the parents, and everything in terms also of like choosing what you do after high school is the parents. Upbringing is basically everything, and part of your upbringing is private versus public school, whether or not you were a part of structured activities, things like your diet. And I really just find that right there, it just doesn't need to be an exhaustive system. Like, I think a lot of these guys who are just finding, like, I find that I cannot ever have stake in society. I just don't think I could ever achieve fucking anything. And part of that could be because you have autism or something else, like some sort of trauma. But yeah, there's theories that autism comes from bad parenting, bad diet, lots of stupid television and kid shows. I love you, like No sports, not developing any character or community or like high status social scenarios and friendships when you're young, and all of it in a public school setting, which is battle royale, which is like this place is ultimately like the shit dump for people who are not meant to achieve jack shit. So may the best man win. And the best man did sports and structured activities and was tall and didn't get traumatized. Probably traumatized some other fucking people. You've probably heard those kind of stories about like a guy who was a bully and he grew up to be a judge or something high status. Because that's the real world, dude. Like, no, people who play sports actually aren't stupid. Actually, sometimes they're high IQ and smart and well-to-do. And they grow up to go to Notre Dame on a sports scholarship, and then they work for the FBI, and then they get paid to harass you. Dork, incel. They literally get paid to harass you because you're a fucking incel. Ooh. High school never fucking ends. I already made that video. High school never ends. So, in terms of the caste system, I mean, that's the big epiphany, dude. You weren't in sports. You're not tall. You're a fucking dork. And high school never ends, so you're eternally a dork, and you're low status. And that, I mean, it's not as simple as that, but it's a little bit too close for comfort, isn't it, chuddies? Anyway, that's some of my thoughts on the American caste system. And if any of that applies to you, you weren't really meant to be jack shit, little buddy. And I think a lot of these things like fast food and microplastics and just the whole public school in general atmosphere and public television, stuff like Nickelodeon. I've already gone over how like the messages in Doug and Hey Arnold are pacifying. All of that stuff is like purposely trying to condition you to be like a passive little fucking nobody. So, yeah, you probably weren't meant to be jack shit. And if you ever do amount to be anything, you made it against all odds. Don't feel bad because a lot of this stuff applies to me. And I feel like this is a lot of the reasons that I'm not jack shit. You want to call it a victim mentality? Whatever, dude. I think that's usually gaslighting from people who were born in rich families and went to private schools, and you know the drill. God bless, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.